Tank Davis is back in camp for the third day, and his goal is still clear: to correct everything that went wrong in the first fight against Lamont Roach Jr. and walk away from the rematch with no doubts left. Now, inside his Baltimore training base, Davis is going through a focused, deliberate preparation with longtime mentors Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis still by his side. Didn't get what?
Didn't get what the decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, you know, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I can get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Training began earlier than usual this time, which Davis's team sees as a sign of his renewed discipline. As early as mid-May, Davis was already fully immersed in camp with his weight well managed and his attention locked in. He's ahead of schedule. Kenny Ellis has said, referencing Davis's current shape and sharpness, the team wanted no distractions and no delays. They've emphasized a simple philosophy this time: prepare for 12 rounds, dominate everyone, and do it without depending on a single punch to change the fight. How
many rematches have you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's going to be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't get me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room.
One of the central issues that the camp is addressing came from the fourth round of the first fight. According to Calvin Ford, it was at that moment that things started to unravel, not because of Roach's pressure, but because of something completely avoidable. We knew the grease in Tank's hair was a problem from the fourth round. His vision was compromised, and we had to adapt. Ford said in a recent interview the hair product started dripping into Davis's eyes, blurring his vision and causing discomfort. The result was that Davis began fighting with limited visibility, and while he still landed meaningful shots, it affected his ability to respond and defend against Roach's counters. Ford didn't mince words. That knee in the ninth wasn't a surrender, it was a strategic move to reset and protect him. Ref Willis made the right call. No punch landed, so it wasn't a knockdown. Tank fought through pain, and the draw reflects a fair fight, but we want to run it back to settle this once and for.
Well, seeing the first fight, like I said, both of them are great fighters, man. I mean, good fighters too, great fighters. Who gonna have the edge this time?
Yeah.
Not saying he gonna win though, but Lamont.
Why?
He would have weighed everybody saying that he won. He won the fight. You know what I mean? You know, and then that when he took that knee, that really was supposed to be a disqualification. You know what I mean? And then you can't go.
Kenny Ellis has supported this, clarifying that they understood the optics of the moment, but felt it was misinterpreted by those watching. He didn't break the rules, Ellis said, referring to the moment Davis took a knee. Everybody asking the same over and over. Everybody got their own opinion, so it is what it is. That's boxing. Ellis stressed that what the critics didn't see was Davis's ability to make adjustments through adversity. Lamont's tough, but Tank was breaking him down in the later rounds. The grease threw us off, but we adjusted. Roach didn't win, and we're ready to prove it again. Las Vegas.
It's in June.
Tank Roach, okay, yeah.
I was hoping that it'd just be in the DMV because I feel like that makes the most sense. But now that fight is prime time. When before it was why you fighting him, Tank? Now it's you gotta fight him, Tank.
That fast.
Yeah, right?
That fast.
And that just goes to show you just how fast, like, you could just change. You could turn the odds on the casino. Now Lamont can have his pick of the litter. Like, Shakur could fight Lamont next. Keyshawn could fight Lamont.
The rematch training camp has been structured around the belief that Tank should have won the first fight with better preparation and fewer self-inflicted errors. This time, they're not leaving anything to chance. A lot of emphasis has gone into making sure Davis uses his jab more consistently, something he didn't do in the early rounds of the first fight. They've also increased his punch output in sparring sessions, making sure he doesn't fall back into a rhythm of loading up on single shots. Roach was able to slip and counter many of those single attacks, so now the camp is drilling combinations, varied tempos, and better ring generalship. But who
cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye, spit fuck around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on, ref. You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
No.
Pops, it's a no?
Hell no.
Yeah. You know how many
Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben after that fight.
But look how many times he look at.
In terms of sparring, the sessions have been kept largely private, but insiders say that Davis is going rounds with quick, technically sound fighters who can replicate Roach's style. The idea isn't to look impressive in the gym, but to prepare for the specific rhythm and challenges Roach presents that includes working on Davis's ability to cut off the ring control distance with his lead hand and step around Roach's jab to land body shots. In the first fight, Roach had some early success with movement and angles, but the Davis camp believes those adjustments are now in place. Another key point of preparation has been psychological stability. After the first fight, Davis voiced frustration with the outcome, and even made comments suggesting he was tired of the sport. Calvin Ford and others close to him have since helped him reset mentally. He's locked in now. Ford confirmed, "You can't
see who it is. Yeah. Who is the dude? Who is the dude?
We've got a plan, and he's sticking to it." The team understands how important it is to keep Davis mentally engaged, especially with a high-stakes rematch like this. They've limited media appearances, pulled back on social media activity, and ensured his attention stays in the gym. Even though Calvin Ford is no longer running the day-to-day training, his influence is still strong. He's involved in the film study, the strategic planning, and remains a key presence during sparring days. His voice is one that Davis listens to closely, and Ford has made it clear that he's fully supportive of the approach this camp is taking. "I got Calvin tattooed on me. Calvin ain't going nowhere. Calvin is Pops. He ain't going anywhere," Davis said, previously reinforcing the bond the two have maintained over the years inside the camp. There is also a sense of urgency. Everyone involved understands that while the first fight ended in a draw, many viewed it as a blemish on Davis's otherwise dominant.
We did how many rounds? We probably did at least like 8 straight.
Yeah, but you in the bag for about 8-2.
Yeah.
That's good. You're not in bad shape.
Yeah. Just got fill up my
Of
mind.
course. That's all.
Goal now is not just to win, but to make a clear statement. Ellis said it plainly. "We're not going in there looking to make it close again. That first fight gave Lamont everything he needed. Our mistakes are off night, everything, and he still didn't win. That won't happen again." Nutrition has been another area of discipline. Davis has kept his weight in check throughout the camp, hovering close to the lightweight limit. There have been no reports of late-night runs or last-minute cuts, which used to be an issue in earlier stages of his career. The team has brought in a professional chef and dietitian to monitor everything from his macros to his hydration levels. This structured approach is another sign that the entire team is treating this like a must-win fight.
Honestly, I thought I should have won without that being counted a knockdown. Look, I ain't the ref. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he had to wipe sweat out his eye, he had to wipe sweat out his eye. But the rules do state, if you voluntarily take a knee, then that's an automatic 8 count. But it is what it is. I wasn't relying on that. I was relying on what I was doing in there. I think I was taking control. I think I was landing more shots. I think I was landing more power shots. And I thought I was doing my thing. So I'm not really that frustrated about that. But if that was kind of a knockdown, I would win the majority.
Strength and conditioning have also been prioritized. Davis has added early morning altitude mask runs, explosive plyometric drills, and daily core work to reduce injury risk. The camp has put more focus on long-term endurance, preparing for the possibility that Roach tries to take the fight deep again. They want Davis to be able to apply pressure without fading and to execute at a high pace from round 1 to 12 if necessary. Even the technical film breakdowns have shifted in tone. Earlier in his career, Davis could rely on instinct and talent, but for this rematch, the coaches are drilling specific counters to Roach's lead hand, timed step-ins, and fakes that invite Roach into throwing so Davis can counter effectively. Everything is designed around creating control, not waiting for opportunities, but building them.
Roach for Tank Davis, right? And if I'm being real here, right? The biggest fight for Tank Davis right now is the rematch. And the reason why I say it's the rematch is because everybody said that Tank lost the fight. The majority of fans said that Tank lost that fight because of the knee.